Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Terry from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be the Combat Series episode number 51 for you guys this week. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the Combat Series this week. I'll be sharing my fight prediction for this weekend's fight in the world of MMA inside the UFC world between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. So Islam Makhachev, the reigning defending lightweight champion in the UFC, will be defending his lightweight championship against Dustin Poirier in the main event of UFC 302. So these are my following storylines heading into the main event of UFC 302. Is Dustin Poirier is this Dustin Poirier's final opportunity to become a world champion in the UFC? Me personally, I do believe that this is Dustin Poirier's last chance to become a world champion in the UFC, especially in the lightweight division. I don't think he's ever going to get a world title opportunity if he comes up short against Islam Makhachev in the main event of UFC 302. Because I feel like Dustin Poirier has to cash in on what could be his final opportunity for the lightweight title, because he is 35 years of age. He is contemplating his future in MMA, win or lose this upcoming weekend. And I feel like he has to cash in on this opportunity because at 35, you're not going to get much opportunities. And I just don't see Dustin Poirier sticking around to climb up the mountain if he's unsuccessful at UFC 302. And I've said it in the past on the Combat Series before. Dustin Poirier, I do believe, is the one of, if not the greatest UFC fighter to never win a world title in the UFC. He is a former interim lightweight champion, but he's never officially won a title. So I feel like Dustin Poirier has to cash in on what could be his final opportunity at the lightweight title. Now, my final storyline is, can Islam Makhachev prove the doubters wrong once again? Now, I say this because Islam Makhachev, he's been the lightweight champion since UFC 280 when he submitted Charles Oliveira in the middle of the octagon in the second round at UFC 280 to win the lightweight title. If you guys look at Islam Makhachev's lightweight title defenses, the two title defenses that he's had in his lightweight reign, they've came against Alexander Volkanovski, at the time the reigning defending featherweight champion. At the time, Alexander Volkanovski, who moved up in weight to try to become a double champion in Alexander Volkanovski. And there's nothing wrong with that. We were all spoiled at how good the first fight between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski was compared to the second fight. However, it's not Islam Makhachev's fault that he's never fought a top 5 lightweight contender, but with Charles Oliveira missing out at UFC, one of the UFCs before the end of the year, and Alexander Volkanovski stepped up, he's never fought a top 5 contender for the lightweight title, defending his lightweight title. So this is his first time he is going to defend the title against a top 5 contender. Can he prove the doubters wrong and prove why he is a legitimized UFC lightweight champion? Now, this is my tail of the tape for the fight. You have Islam Makhachev, who has 25 wins, 1 loss to his resume. He has 5 victories come away of knockout, 11 submission victories. Currently, the reigning defending lightweight champion stands at 5'10" and has a reach advantage of 70 inches. Now, looking at the challenger, Dustin Poirier, he has 30 wins, 8 losses to his resume. He has 16 victories come away of knockout. He has 7 submission victories. He stands at 5'9" and has a reach advantage of 72 inches. So the height advantage goes to the champion, but the reach advantage goes to the challenger. Something that we could see during this fight. Now, these are my following game plans for each respective fighter to follow if they want to walk out of New Jersey with the lightweight title in the UFC. Starting off my game plan for Dustin Poirier, he has to win the striking battle. And I know as elite and as talented as Islam Makhachev is, there is a chance that Dustin Poirier could win the striking battle against Islam Makhachev, because Islam Makhachev has shown vulnerability in a striking affair in the past. You look at that first fight that he had against Alexander Volkanovski in the beginning of 2023. When he got in their striking battle against Alexander Volkanovski, he was losing the striking battle, but eventually won the war. That being him being victorious in the first fight and retaining the lightweight title. But if you look at how Islam Makhachev walked away from the first fight against Alexander Volkanovski, he was bloody. His left eye was bruised. He had a black eye. This is Dustin Poirier's best chance of winning the fight if he wins the striking battle. Now, these are the following game plans for Islam Makhachev to follow. I feel like Islam Makhachev's going to have to take this fight to the ground as much as possible. Dustin Poirier has proven in the past he's not the best grappler, and he's not known for being a grappler. He's known for being a striker. And I could see several situations in this fight where Islam Makhachev can find ways to submit Dustin Poirier. I could see a guillotine choke. I could see a triangle choke or a sleeper choke that Khabib put Dustin Poirier in the middle of the octagon a few years ago, which it's something that's important to touch up on because it's confirmed that Khabib will be in the corner of Islam Makhachev for his title defense against Dustin Poirier. So you know Khabib's going to give instructions to Islam Makhachev to take this fight to the ground as much as possible and try to submit Dustin Poirier to retain the lightweight title. That's a game plan to follow. Next one, he has to be very patient in this fight. I feel like patience is going to be the key to success for Islam Makhachev in this fight, because everything has to be calculated, and he has to use his MMA IQ to frustrate Dustin Poirier as much as possible. And I think if he could do that, he has a good chance of retaining the lightweight title. And last but not least, I feel like Islam Makhachev's going to have to be alert defensively. On paper, Islam Makhachev is better than Dustin Poirier. Islam Makhachev is pound for pound one of the best MMA fighters in the world today. However, he cannot underestimate Dustin Poirier because he has the better skills, the better MMA IQ, the experience in the octagon. He's been here in the big time moments and delivers in championship fights. But he cannot take Dustin Poirier for granted. Because if he does that, Dustin Poirier's best shot of winning this fight is in the striking department and being desperate. And one mistake could cost Islam Makhachev the fight. And one mistake could cost Islam Makhachev the lightweight title. So those are my game plans for Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier to follow for this fight for the main event of UFC 302. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev to successfully retain his lightweight championship in the main event of UFC 302 against Dustin Poirier. I just feel like as much as the world would like to see Dustin Poirier finally win the big one, finally get the crowning moment of his MMA career and become a UFC world champion, I just feel like it's not going to happen because you're fighting the wrong champion at the wrong time and a dangerous Islam Makhachev. And I just feel like Islam Makhachev is the much better fighter between himself and Dustin Poirier. And you're going to need much more than a puncher's chance to defeat a pound-for-pound MMA great that we are seeing right now in front of our eyes in Islam Makhachev. But I just feel like Dustin Poirier's kryptonite is grapplers. And that is exactly what Islam Makhachev is, an elite grappler. You don't get 11 submission victories by accident in the MMA. Dustin Poirier's got submitted by Khabib in the past, which Khabib will be in Islam Makhachev's corner this weekend, instructing him to take the fight to the ground and submit him. He's got submitted by Charles Oliveira in the past. The game plan will be simple for Islam Makhachev to retain the lightweight title. He's going to take down Dustin Poirier, shoot for a lot of takedowns, grapple him, and tire him out, wear him out on the mats, and he's going to submit him. I feel like Islam Makhachev is going to win this fight by submission in the second round to retain his lightweight championship. But that is my fight prediction for this weekend's fight between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier in the main event of UFC 302.